DreAllDay.com.
Tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, philosophies, principles, strategies, mindsets, approaches, and a bunch of books, and this daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is they want to hear you. Yes, Y-O-U. They want to hear you. That is the topic here today. Now, before I get into what this topic means and where I'm going with it, let me tell everybody that I have a daily motivation text message that I think it'd be a good idea for you to receive. If you want to get a daily motivation text from me straight to your phone every morning, all you got to do is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. Once you text me there, and we confirm you'll be receiving my daily motivation every morning. It'll go straight to your phone, something to keep you focused, sharp, mentally on point, really quick message every single day and locked in. So 305-384-6894. Text me right there. The number is also noted down below in the show notes. Now, this topic here today, they want to hear you. How I came upon this topic was, it was actually in my text message. As a matter of fact, this happened in my texting community. Someone sent me a text, and it was a link to a video, not by me, but by some person who's in the thought leadership space. It was some video with some guy. He was talking some mindset material stuff. And this person, along with the video that they sent me the link, they gave me a message that said, well, hey, and this person was kind of new to my audience. They had just got into my texting community maybe a day or two earlier. So I guess they thought they thought they were doing a service. And they said, well, hey, your audience might be interested in this video. And the first thing that I thought to myself, I didn't say this to the person, but the first thing I thought was, fuck this guy's video. I didn't know who this guy was. And even if I did, actually, I think I do know who the guy was. I don't remember right now in this moment. I don't remember who it was, but I think I do know who the person was whose video this woman sent me. Well, I first thought was, fuck this guy's video. I don't give a damn what he has to say. Now, this guy being a cool guy, maybe I've even consumed some of his stuff. The first thing I'm thinking is, well, I'm going to fill in the blanks with today's masterclass. I'll tell you everything that I was thinking as I fill in these points, because this topic here today is aimed at any of you who is a thought leader, or you plan to establish yourself in the thought leadership space. And I want you to understand why you need to be out there publishing, why you need to be out there sharing your message, spreading your voice, saying whatever it is that you're going to say out to the world. Let's get into it. Point number one. The topic, once again, is they want to hear you. Number one, people come into your world because they want to hear what you have to say. I hope that that's not news to any of you, but if it is news to any of you, well, okay, now you got the news. People come into your world because they want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear what everybody else has to say. They don't want to hear what somebody who's from some other thought leader who might be talking about a similar topic to you has to say. They don't care what another person's opinion is. They come into your world to get your opinion. I mean, I think that's a simple enough concept, but I think some thought leaders, or some burgeoning thought leaders, some up-and-coming thought leaders, seem to forget this sometimes. People want to know where you're at. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to know how you're feeling about certain topics. That's why people join your world. People do not join your world. They don't come to your podcast or subscribe to your emails or read your books to hear you copy and paste what somebody else said. Now, again, being clear, this is for those of you who are in the thought leadership space. Now, if you step into this space and you present yourself as, listen, I'm the aggregator, I'm the reporter, I'm the type of person who, look, my job, if you say that this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get all the information about topic XYZ, and I'm going to give you the most essential parts of those topics, then yes, then you're that person because you presented yourself as that. But if you present yourself as the thought leader, as, listen, I am presenting myself as a expert level thinker on topic XYZ, then I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear what you think because you're presenting yourself as that expert. So when I put myself out there as a person who talks about discipline, confidence, mental toughness, or I talk about branding or leadership or communication, like I'm going to be doing that Work on Your Game live in January, I'm presenting myself as, listen, I know what I'm talking about. I'm presenting myself as the authority on that subject. Now, am I the only person in the world talking about these topics? I'm not. But if someone else has something that they say about it, then listen, you go to their podcast, you go read their books, you go subscribe to their email list, and you can hear whatever they have to say. I don't put out my material to tell you what somebody else said. I put out my material to tell you what I said. Even though I may use what somebody else said, I often quote other people, or I'll grab a definition off the internet, or I'll quote somebody's website only to frame what I'm going to say. So you as the thought leader, your job is to give people your thoughts. All right? You're a thought leader. Leader means you're going first. You're out in front and you're sharing your thoughts. So thought leader, share your thoughts and be the leader. That's what people want you to do. They don't need you to copy paste what somebody else said. All right, give them your message. If you don't believe in your message enough to share it as it is, then you don't belong in the game. This is just the harsh truth of it. Believe in your message enough to share it. And as you share it more often, the right type of people who want to hear from you, they're going to show up, they're going to identify themselves in your audience, and your confidence will grow. But everybody has to start at zero. Everybody has to start somewhere. So if I want to hear from another person other than you on a certain subject, then I will go look up that person. I don't come to you so you can tell me what somebody else said. I want to hear you. If you consume someone else's stuff and that stuff inspires you, fine. That's great. Give your audience your own version of that thing, and then put your own spin on that message so you can explain in your words why that person's message matters. I just talked about this in the episode where I told you the real price of success, episode 1934, where I quoted a couple paragraphs out of the book Thick Face, Black Heart by Ning Chu. It's one of my favorite books. I love the way that book was written. I love the message of the book. But I didn't make that episode just so I could tell you to go read Thick Face, Black Heart, even though I did tell you that. It wasn't as an advertisement for Ning Chu. It was so I could use the excerpt from her book to frame me explaining to you a bigger idea than even what she wrote in the book. So I was leveraging her message to make my own message. So there's nothing wrong with utilizing what you get from another person. And listen, as you're listening to someone who's done 2,000 straight episodes, 2,000 plus straight daily episodes of a show, all of this is not just me coming up with some magic elixir ideas every single day, like some evil genius sitting in the basement. I leverage things that I get from other people. How often do I tell you right here on this show that the reason I'm talking about this topic is, and then what I tell you is something that didn't even come from me. Somebody said something, somebody did something, I experienced something, I heard something, I read something, I watched something. Almost every other episode I'm telling you that I got this topic because something that somebody else was involved in, I came across it, and then it sparked an idea in my mind, and I took the little piece from what they did, and then I expanded it into something bigger that I'm doing. All right, that's the way that I do it. You don't have to do it that way, but I'm giving you that example just so you understand. You don't have to come up with everything, 100% of everything on your own. You can leverage other people's stuff, but then you go make your own idea out of it. So you become a creator, not merely a reporter. Unless you position yourself as a reporter, then it's okay. You can just report what everybody else said. Point number 2. Today's topic again is they want to hear you. Number 2, you can still appreciate what another person shares. Just use what other people share as inspiration to make your own message. And I kind of just walked on this point at the end of point number 1. I do that all the time. And I tell you explicitly, hey, I'm talking about this because I read this excerpt from this book, or I was watching some documentary and somebody said something, or I was reading on Twitter and this person posted this, or somebody sent me a text message and they sent me a link and said this, and that led to this idea. So that's the reason why that's how you can still appreciate what you get from other people. Even if it's something that annoys you or pisses you off, you can use that as subject material. All right, being annoyed and pissed off is a great hack for focus. We get really focused when we're annoyed and pissed off. So use that as inspiration. If someone tells you something that really sparks something in you, take that and then go make a bigger message out of it in your own way and in your own words. So I do that all the time, and I tell you about it all the time. But I don't need to regurgitate that other person's entire message, because if you really wanted their message, you wouldn't be listening to me. You would just go to them. I told you their name, go find them. When you come to work on your game, you're going to get the Dre Baldwin message, because work on your game is Dre Baldwin. So that's why it's so important for you to master your frameworks and your topics of expertise, so that you can always plug in whatever you're doing into whatever. You can always plug whatever you get, whatever substance material, into your frameworks to make them work for you. I explained frameworks in episode 1440. as mastering the skill of organized knowledge. Also explained in episode number 1849, a framework for selling yourself, in 1760, a framework for promoting your stuff and getting attention. In episode 1739, a point story application framework, and in episode 1592, I gave you the entire work on your game framework. So if you want to know how I put this whole thing together, then you'll understand it, rather, in episode 1592. So this is why you need to know your frameworks, because when you do, you can take anything that you see or hear or observe, and you can find a way to angle it back to your area of expertise, your area of specialization. So you give me nearly any topic, I can take that topic and relate it back to work on your game. And it's not because I'm so brilliant. It's because I know so well how to connect the dots from any idea back to what I talk about, and then I can put it into words. And that's only because, again, not because I'm so brilliant, it's because of the time that I put in doing this. I've done this so much that it's become a skill. Now, do I have some talent when it comes to articulation and oratory and speaking and remembering things and telling stories and breaking stuff down and being analytical? Yes, I have some talent in those things. But had I just never really worked on it, had I not done this 2,000 days in a row and just turn on the mic and just try to do this, I wouldn't be able to do it at the same level. So the time that I put in became skill, combined with the talent, equals the ability to become exceptional. You got to have the combination of both. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is they want to hear you, not other people. Number 3, even if you are not the best at your topic, because some of you are listening to this and you're like, okay, like it makes sense what you're saying here, Dre. I understand it. I want to put myself out there and establish myself as a thought leader in the space. However, you might be feeling a little bit of trepidation about it simply because you're not number one on this topic. There are people who have been around for longer than you. They've written more books than you. They got more followers than you. They have more customers and clients than you. But any area of comparison that you can think of, they're beating you and they're kicking your ass. It's not even close. So you are far from the best at your topic, at least in your eyes. But here's what I want you to understand. Different is better than better. Your job in the thought leadership world is not to be better than other people. When I talk about discipline and confidence and mental toughness, am I the best in the world at talking about those things? Who knows? So who's the judge? Like, you ask 10 different people, you might get 10 different answers. Who's the best in each one of these topics? Some people may have a good idea of who the best is. They haven't even heard of some other people in the area. So maybe the other person might be better if they heard them, but they never heard of them. But they're connected to the person they're connected to. So your job is not to try to be better than somebody else at whatever it is that you talk about, because better is not quantifiable. But being different, that's something that you can achieve by just using the law of contrast and making it work in your favor. So, okay, yes, there are 100 other people talking about this subject, but I'm going to talk about it in this way, from this angle. Nobody else is doing it, not the way that I'm doing it. So you want to be different. You don't need to try to be better. It is your style of delivery that people buy into. Some people need to hear topic X spoken about your way in order for them to get it. So let's take a topic like, motivation. Let's take a topic like motivation. So you got Tony Robbins is out there. You got E.T. is out there. You got name 1,000 other motivational speakers. You got Dre Baldwin out there. You got a whole bunch of other people who talk about things that you could categorize as motivational. And almost everybody who's in the thought leadership space offers something that could possibly be motivational. We all offer it on some level at some point. Now, how do you make yourself stand out in that space when there's so many other people doing it? Here's how. It's understanding that somebody might go listen to those people that I mentioned and it just doesn't connect with them the right way. The message that they're giving, they could all give the same message. Me and Tony Robbins could both give the same message, but it might not land with you the way that it really needs to land. But when speaker X comes up, who has 100 followers and they just started their podcast 2 weeks ago, the way that they articulate the exact same idea might land with someone in that audience in a way that Dre and Tony just couldn't reach them. That's the difference. That's why different is better than better. All right, you don't have to be better than another person. You just have to be different in a way that your message just lands with people because of who you are and how you do what you do. No message lands with everybody the exact same way. That's why there are thousands of people who talk about the same topics. Because if there was just one best way to talk about a certain topic, then there would be like one motivational speaker, there'd be one person talking about mental health, one person talking about fitness, one person talking about, who knows, politics, government, leadership, communication, people skills, whatever. There'd be one or two people, maybe just a very small group. How many cola sodas do we have? Well, we got Pepsi, we got Coke. Who else we got? There might be a few other little small niche companies, but that's pretty much it. So if we did that the same way with human beings, then there'll only be a few. Just like there's only Pepsi and Coke and there's pretty much nobody else. But human beings, we are so complex and we are so different. And we have so many of these subtle nuances within ourselves as people. That's why there's plenty of space for everybody to be out there, even if we're talking about the same topic, because not everyone wants to get it the same way, and we don't all want to get it from the same person. There are white people out there who don't want to hear from a black guy, and there are black people out there who don't want to hear from a white guy. So there's plenty of space for a whole bunch of people just based on that alone. There are women who don't want to hear the message from a man. And there are women who don't want to hear from a woman. They want to hear from a man. And vice versa. There are men who want to listen to women talk and women want to listen to men talk. And there are so many different. And if you just keep niching down, you can find that there's an audience for pretty much everybody, if you're willing to put yourself out there. If it was all about being the best, there would only be 2 or 3 and there'd be nobody else. So think about the sales world. Think about the mindset world, the fitness world, book writing. How many people are there who are presenting themselves as experts on each of those topics? There are literally thousands, more than you can name, more than you can even find if you Google search, and they're all making money. That's the thing. It's not like everybody is struggling and only a couple people are eating. A lot of them are out there making money simply because there are so many potential prospects for your audience and what you're talking about. You do not have to be better than anybody else, because every single customer out there, and we're all customers on some level, we all have our flavor of choice. And many of us, if you really think about it, actually all of us, we are not only customers of one entity. Right? Any of you who's listening to this only buy stuff from one company? Even if you buy a lot of your stuff, listen, I buy stuff from, if I just look at this desk that I'm sitting at right now, I got this from Amazon, I got this from Apple, I got this from, a lot of this is from Amazon, but they're from different companies that sell on Amazon. So it's not even like Amazon made it. I got this from a book publishing company. I got this from KDP. I got this from Amazon. But again, Amazon didn't make this. This is a company that's selling on Amazon. I got that stuff from Shopify. I got those shelves behind me. Those came from Target. This t-shirt came from Hanes. So there is so many different places that I got groceries over there. They're from Whole Foods. I got water ice in there from this place called Italian Vice. Shout out Amir, he's from Philly, has an Italian water ice company down here in Miami. I got some more water ice from Rita's Water Ice, which y'all know about, me talking about all the time. So we buy stuff from different people. So just because a whole bunch of people are getting their messages from person XYZ, doesn't mean they won't also get it from you. All right? I have had many times in my life, I've had coaching clients, believe it or not, who had more than one coach. All right, yeah, I got this person is my coach for this, and Dre, you're gonna be my coach for this. They are buying from more than one person. Most of us as consumers buy from multiple people. We are consuming, we're promiscuous when it comes to our consuming habits. We don't just get with one company and just buy everything from them. Even though companies like Amazon are trying to become that, they will fail because we will always diversify where we buy from as long as somebody can come with a good offer. So understand that you don't have to be better than anybody to be successful, to get known, or to make money. Somebody out there isn't going to do what they can do for themselves in their lives until they hear from you. That's the message and the mission that I want you to keep in mind. There are people out there whose lives need to be changed, but they're not going to change until they hear a certain message from a certain person. And that certain message and a certain person are both you. There's a flavor for everybody. And another thing, our tastes change over time. Think of a company that you used to buy stuff from 10 years ago. You probably can't even remember them, but you don't buy anything from them right now. But if you heard of them again today, maybe you see an ad or something from them, you might, or they send you a random email. You're like, oh, I forgot about this company. Let me see what they got going on. I hear from people all the time, even here, for those of you watching on video, here on YouTube. I will, let's say, for example, if I'm ever running an ad or something, or I just put a video out, random video, who knows what it is that gets people's attention. I'll get people who reach out to me. They'll DM me or email me or comment, and they'll say, damn, I used to watch your basketball videos back in the day when I was in middle school. Now I'm a grown man or grown woman. It's good to see you're still doing your thing. I get those kind of messages all the time from people who their tastes changed over time. During the period when it was all about making it to the NBA, they were focusing on the guy who was giving them basketball. But then when they stopped doing the basketball stuff, or maybe when I stopped doing it, they or I moved on to something else. And then when they see me, they go, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. Let me see what he has going on. And hey, maybe they'll come back into my audience. I've had people do this. I had people at my Work on Your Game live events who said, Dre, man, I used to watch your basketball videos and stuff. Then I started doing other things because I wasn't playing basketball. Not me, but they're saying this. And then they say, oh, you're doing this, so let me come. Can I come to the event? And they can end up coming to Work on Your Game live. So these kind of things occur because as consumers, again, our tastes change, our needs change, and we look for different things at different times. And somebody could just sometimes you just get enough of one voice and you want to hear a different voice. NBA legendary coach Phil Jackson, who won 11 championships in the NBA, he had this saying that you can coach a basketball team for about 8 to 9 years before they start tuning your voice out. After about 8 or 9 years, you're going to have to move on because those guys can't keep hearing the same messages. They can't keep hearing the same pregame motivational speech. The same stuff just doesn't work because they've heard it too many times already, and you got to move on. And what Phil Jackson's point, it illustrates exactly what I'm saying here, is that people change and people's tastes change and our needs change and the flavors that we like change. You might like one flavor this year, you might like a different flavor next year. That's why you, as a producer, you got to keep putting yourself out there. You got to be in the game and you got to stay discoverable because you never know who might be looking for you. I got a funny story. I'm not going to put it on YouTube to tell you how somebody ended up finding me on a different time. I won't talk about it today, but if you just watch my YouTube channel, you'll probably see the video. It'll be in the Dre Stories category, which I know a lot of you who know about Dre Stories, you like those. So I got a good one coming up. Anyway, today's topic, and by the time you hear this, I actually already put it out, so just look it up. Anyway, recapping today's topic, which is they want to hear you and they want to hear from you. Someone, I told you this came from someone sending me a link and saying, hey, your audience might like this video that was not made by me. And my first thought was, well, I don't need to share that guy's video. I'll share my own videos. And I even told this person that, and they accepted it. They took it in stride. But it led to this topic right here. So as I said, I can take anything and make content out of it. Point number one, people join your world because they want to hear from you. They don't want to hear you copy and paste what somebody else said. Because if they really wanted to hear what that other person said, they would go listen to that person. So you take, even if you are inspired, and let's move on to point number two, even if you are inspired by what somebody else said and you appreciate what they said, take their message and then you make a bigger message related to that, and then you say things your own way. So it doesn't mean you being the voice, doesn't mean everything you say has to be 100% coming from you. You can be inspired by another person's message and then just utilize that piece of their message that inspired you to make a bigger message that is coming straight from you. No idea is brand new. Everybody is stealing on some level from someone. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist by this author by the name of Austin is it Austin? I think it's Austin Kleon. His last name I remember is Kleon. Look that up. It's called Steal Like an Artist. It's a really good and insightful book just about understanding that nobody is coming up with all their ideas 100% from scratch. So you can steal, but then be an artist at the exact same time. Look that book up and read it. Point number three, even if you're not the best at a topic, it's your style of delivery that people buy into. And some people need to hear it your way in order to get it. And there are people out there who are not going to get things the way they need to get them until they hear from you. But if you're hesitant and not putting yourself out there because you're like, well, this person's better than me, this person has more followers than me, this person's bigger than me, this person's making more money than me, then you are holding yourself back and you're keeping that person who needs to hear your message from actually getting what they need. So don't be selfish about it. Put yourself out there. There are people who need to hear you. Stay in the game, be discoverable, give them your voice because that's what people want. Send me a text message if you want to get my daily motivation text. I send it out every morning. My number is 305-384-6894. And any of you who is looking to be coached by someone who has a specific voice, and I come with a certain flavor. You listen to this whole episode, so I think you know. If you want someone who can help you strategize where you need to go, what you need to do personally and professionally, make sure that you are being held accountable, and then make sure we get the execution out of it so you actually get real results. You may be the person to join my 3rd-day mastermind. It's the only one-on-one direct coaching I do. The link to sign up for a Zoom call is down below. It's workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.